Hey guys, I hope that you're all having a really good week. Thank you so much for tuning in to my channel today. This is going to be a really personal, private, and deep chat. And I'll try and keep it a little bit on the shorter side. I hope that you're all having a really good week and that you're all staying calm. You know, that tends to be the hardest part about life right now, is just trying to stay calm, remain calm as possible. I was thinking about investing in getting a speakerphone or a microphone that can record my voice a little bit better, because I just do these on my phone on voice memo. Yeah, so I'm just sitting here and I have no notes, no script, just pure, undiluted, uncensored, unfiltered realness. And you know I'm going to give it to you real, because if it's not real, then it's all a complete waste of time. But it's so important to know the difference between reality and fantasy. And I've been really looking at this concept for a long time now, actually, in my life, really trying to get my head around a lot of things that I thought were real were actually not real. And ways of being that I thought was the way is not real. And I've got to be careful how I word this, because I don't want to freak people out too much. I know I do. I know I do. But it's not my intention to deliberately upset people. And there are certain things that I just can't share on this channel because they are way too hardcore. And as I've learned, that Sagittarian side of me and that Scorpio cusp side of me really wants to tell the truth. And everyone's like, speak your truth. And then I speak my truth and they look at you and they're like, who the hell do you think you are? You know, how can you say that? Because it completely can dismantle and derail their sense of reality. And I will say, before I go any further in this recording, that anything that I say in my astrological videos about star signs, anything that I say about my videos on art, anything that I say about my thoughts on the occult, my thoughts on tarot, my thoughts on life advice, my thoughts on witchcraft, spirituality, this all comes from my soul. It all comes from my experience, my truth. I didn't read it in a book. I didn't watch a YouTube video. YouTube is real life, isn't it? No, I didn't. No, it all came from me. So I had an experience, and I'm going to share this with you because I think that we need to talk about this. I know a lot of you that listen to my podcasts or listen to watch my videos know what it feels like to live a life, or trying to carve a life that is of some level of integrity. And, you know, you're probably the black sheep, just like me. You know, you really are. You're on the fringes of society, and people would probably be prescribed some level of antipsychotic medication for this train of thought. But trying to find a way to get connection with the very, very few that can actually really go there with you is very, very, very difficult, and it's very, very painful. So I will start this video with the topic of family. You know, this is a hardcore one to talk about. I went through Christmas visiting my family, and it is unbelievably lonely. You know, you can go back for the holidays. You can go back to Thanksgiving if you're in America, or you might go for the Easter weekend. but to be surrounded by people that just don't support you, don't recognize your excellence, don't recognize your hard work, and friends too. You know, I want to put friends in that same family bracket as well, is having friends that just don't get you and never will. So it's like my energy just completely shifted then when I just mentioned that family. I know that you can go back and be around your family and feel completely alone, completely isolated, completely just really, really derailed. And I'm gonna get really aggressively real with this, because I know you know what I'm talking about here. And my thoughts are on it. I know this has been a really, really hard one for me to talk about, because I'm still processing it. I still process it every day. I might sound sometimes like I'm well put together and I'm calm and I'm grounded and I'm centered, but a lot of the time I am rage. I am spinning fire. I'm initiating energy everywhere, like sparks are flying off me. It comes out of me. It's a lot of fire in my chart, and I have a lot of unhealed pain. And on that's underneath the volcano of me. And then on top of that is anger, because if you don't, I need you to get this. So please get this and get this really good, because I still have to reassess it and relook at it a lot. But basically all anger is a cover emotion of pain. So when someone is in anger, they are in pain. When someone has a need that is not getting met, that is starvation. And I've been living my life in a way where I get these connections around me, and we're all getting around, especially around our family, around our friends, and no one knows who the fuck you are. No one knows who the fuck you really are. No one is checking in with you. No one. And you're just pretending. A lot of it's just fucking lip service. And it's so painful, because we want our family, okay, back to the family thing. We want our family to see us. We want our family to recognize us. We want to feel that acceptance. I think we're kind of hardwired that way as humans. You know, we're tribal. We're born into this family. A lot of our fundamentals are based in family. So we kind of have that thing where it's like, Mom, look at me. Look what I can do. Oh, that's good, darling. You're doing a good job. You know, we kind of, or even with our fathers, particularly for men, we really want our fathers to, if your dad hung around, if you even have a father, we kind of want our dad to see us. I think we all are hungry for that. But when you're around them and they just don't see the world in the way that you see it, you feel completely ignored. Even with my level of intelligence, even with my level of ability and understanding. And I know that we have to forge a life through adversity. That's what makes us strong. And I know that we have to understand, as I've really learned, that we have to know what love is not to know what love is. But I know now in my heart, if you can't receive me, if you can't understand me, if you can't truly recognize me as I am, that is not a relationship. Same goes for friends. And we have this nostalgic thing where we've had friends for a long period of time, moving away from the family for a minute, back to into the friends thing, which is very similar. We have these friendships that we have with people, but it's just surface level. And we kind of keep these people, or they hang on to us and keep us around because we've known each other since kindergarten, or we've known each other for 15 years. But you see, it's the darker complexities of relationship dynamics are far more complicated than that. They only know a version of you that probably doesn't even exist anymore. Yeah. Drop the mic. Boom. Yeah. They only know a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. And people have a tendency to see a version of you that you may have been 20, 15, 25, 10 years ago. And that's your limit as a human. That's your talent. That's as far as you can go. You can't go any further than that. Because that will make them feel unsafe. So a lot of the time we have to downplay ourselves. We have to play a character for them. We have to dumb ourselves down. We have to be like a one-dimensional character for them because that's where they still are. And I'm saying this with the most utmost respect and love and truth here because they can't meet you where you are now. And the thought of you changing means, nope, can't go there. Nope, don't want to go there. That means that they can't keep up with you. Yeah. And so when we go back to our family home, we've gone off and had this adventure and we've dived into the sea of life. We've been a little fish and we've swam therein. We've had these experiences. We've probably done some level of self-evaluation. We're in some level of self-improvement. And then we come back to our family and it's very challenging because you're standing in the aftermath of where you were, say, 15 years ago, which is not where you are now. And they're still there. They're still back at that place. They haven't moved. And what's worse, they don't even see where you are now. And what's worse, they don't even want to attempt to even check in with you and ask, I can't imagine what that might have been like for you. What is it like living like this? What is it like, when no one checks in with you, particularly with family, if you don't have a family or a friend checking in on you, I believe that we kind of stray off into space and we can get lost because there's nothing kind of tethering us down to the earth, to the ground, to keep us real and raw and seen and connected. And I just had an experience with a friend recently where they came to visit me and they've expanded, but not in a good way. They've, rather than going up like a spiral upwards, they've gone into a spiral downwards, and they've gone so far into the rabbit hole, into all these little rabbit holes that they're completely disconnected from reality. And what's worse, they're not even open to having a discussion with love where you can sit down and say, can you please explain any of the things that you're talking about? Like, where did you get all this? Where have you, and they can't, they won't. They like the sensationalism of something, but yet know absolutely fuck all about what they are talking about. And then they enforce that on you. I know we've all had friends like that too, particularly since COVID happened. A lot of people have gone really off the rails with, tinfoil hat stuff. They've gone really, really far down conspiracy theory rabbit holes, which tends to be like social media clickbait. And then they take that as the gospel truth. And then they think they're capable of critical thinking, but they're really not. And it was deeply disturbing to see this recently. But I digress. I'm going to go back to the family topic now, because I know someone out there is listening. And if I can be of service to just one person listening to this, this is what I have to say on the subject. Because I know that you're reading between the lines of what I'm saying. We've all got friends that we shouldn't really have in our life anymore. We've all got family members we know we should have wiped. Every time you go back there, they just drain the absolute fuck out of you and you're all effed up and you feel so off center. And a lot of us do better away from our families. We really, really do. Your family doesn't need to be your family. We've got this profound sense of loyalty that we're supposed to have even when it's dysfunctional. I carry a lot of pain and anger in me towards my family. And I think I go back there around them. I spend a bit of time around them when I can. And it's just me playing a character. Like, it's not me really being able to talk freely like this and have them understand me, because I don't think that they can. Okay, people can only meet you as deeply as they can meet themselves. Someone can only receive you as much as they've received themselves. So it's never going to be a relationship of equality. And I know that we so want it to be, but that is a cause of a lot of our problems in relationships that I've found, is that people tend to put this ideological version template on someone else, and the other person can't measure up to that, and then we get disappointed and we feel betrayed, but they never agreed to it. They never agreed to it. It's like an invisible contract or something that they're supposed to uphold, but that's just the version of them that you needed them to be in you, but it's not who they are. Yeah? And I understand, because we want them to be the one. We want them to be this thing that we've envisioned for them so we can get our needs met. But as I've discovered 9 times out of 10, that's not realistic. And it's just us enforcing something on them that we put on them. And the truth of it, let me get this straight. A real bit good of advice I can also give in this audio recording today would be acceptance. Accept it. Stop pretending that your mum loves you. She doesn't. Stop pretending that your friend cares about you. They don't. And you know it. And you know it. Deep down in your heart. Stop giving a fuck. Well, no, okay, that's too hard. I'm not going to tell you to stop giving a fuck, because you can't just switch off your emotions like a light switch. That's not possible. But start looking at what is real. What feeds you spiritually? What makes you feel good? What feels right in your heart? What is truth to you? Focus on that. If you're seeing that guy and he's always, very lazy with his responses back to you, doesn't really place a lot of value in you, he doesn't want you. So what is it about you that's holding on to this illusion that this other person is not measuring up to? What is it about us that we can change inside of ourselves? If your mum doesn't care about you, that's because she doesn't care. A big source of our pain is that we are not prepared to accept what is before us and bestow that and hold that as truth. If you've got a toxic relationship that you know is toxic, what is it about you that's in denial to that? Is it too hard to have a conversation with someone when they can't mentally, intellectually understand you? How are you going to have a spiritual and heart-to-heart, deep, emotional conversation about how they're feeling, how you're feeling, how they're feeling about the relationship, and then have that chat when they are not even connected to their own emotions? They're not. A big source of our pain is acceptance, is not accepting things. That's why in grief, when someone dies, it's accepting that they're never coming back. They're dead. I know that sounds brutal. We don't like to word things like that. We like to skim over shit and make it sound pretty, but that's what's going on here. And until we can get fucking real with that, nothing's going to change. You're just going to carry this grief in you because it's coming to terms with the acceptance that this chapter, this person in your life is over. And the source of your suffering is you holding on to something that has long died and it's rotting. It's like carrying a baby dead inside of your body and letting it rot inside your body. I know that sounds so graphic and nasty and it's making you sick. It's like having cancer. You have to cut it out. You have to remove it. And then you've got to address how that happened. What was it about me that allowed that to get to that level? How much ownership in this relationship am I prepared to take to let it get to that level? My heart's racing right now. Just breathe. Yeah. So I feel this a lot, and I'm going to give you the key. I'm going to give you the key. I'm going to take the key out of my pocket in this chat and give it to you right now. I am trying to actively practice something. It's the term that I'm going to use is called love them anyway. Love them anyway. Keep them where you need them. And sometimes we can't break free. A lot of people are not in relationships, in marriages that they want to be in. They feel trapped, financially trapped. They can't make it on their own. So a lot of relationships, I believe most relationships with humans is not based on love. I think most people don't even understand what love is to begin with. Sorry. Most people are in relationships based on survival, the dual income, he gets money, I get money, we can live here, we can create this life. But do they actually have a deep relationship that isn't just lip service? No. And they just play that character out until they die. As I've discovered with all of this self-awareness stuff and self-examination, it is so, so painful to do this type of work, for real. No fucking tarot card's going to give you that. Until you're ready to sit down and really take a fucking hard look at yourself in the mirror and really own your own truth. No excuses. No excuses. None. Because ultimately, what's the point? If it's not real, then what's the point? And it is so, so difficult to prolong something and sustain something. That's why it hurts so much, because it's not real. It is so hard to sustain something long-term that is not real. So you can keep playing characters with these people, or you can start to work out an exit strategy to try and move away from them and exit them from your life, or exit yourself from that life of that connection. But yeah, you're going to take a financial hit for it. Yeah, you're probably going to change. It's going to uproot everything, but that's the truth. Do you want to play make-believe? Or do you want to try and go out into the unknown, face the loneliness, walk through the fire of life, get raked, dragged across the coals, and then find yourself and try and find real connections with people that can really understand you? Because as I've discovered, a lot of the subgroups of humans, they tend to, let's just put it this way, from my observation through psychology and life, most people gravitate towards a paradigm or a group that they can relate to in some way, and then they fit into the characterization that group requires of them to be for that group. And generally, a lot of it is playing a character. I know that sounds hard to hear, but a lot of it is playing a character. Even the concept of a spiritual teacher means that they'd have to wear like beads around their neck, flowy material that's very ethereal looking, have their hair grown out straight, be really kind of blissed out. Like that's kind of the archetype of the aesthetic of it. And then they're indoctrinated through that to fit in. So I find that people will gravitate towards groups and subculture groups of people, because there are so many, like there's so many different types of groups of people, to get connection, and then they just play the character that group requires, just so they can have connection. So they'll sacrifice what they are inside, and a lot of them, and the longer that they subscribe to that group consciousness, the longer that they subscribe to that group narrative, the more that they forget who they were before they came into it. The more that they forget who they were, they begin to just completely meld and melt into that way of thinking. And then they see the world through this lens that is distorted by the group narrative. I could get really specific in this video and give you like group names like of people that behave like this. Do I need to give that to you? If you've already followed me enough and you're listening to this video now, you can already see what I mean. You should know groups of people or types of people that do this already. And I want you to pay attention to what you feel in your heart. Does it sit right with you? No. Or does it? Does this level of indoctrinated group mentality really feel right for you? Is that home for you in your heart? Because I don't think it is. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me what is it? I can't answer that for you. But what I can say is start looking for what is real and start following that. And let me tell you, the truth and what is real will always be uncomfortable, scary, lonely at times. Yeah, it is. But at least it's a path that you've chosen to follow for yourself. And have some fucking integrity. Okay? So back to the family thing. Keep them where you need them. And don't take the bait. A lot of people I feel, and not just parents, but a lot of people in families, they get to a certain age and then they get to like, I know I'll be kind here, look, they get to like 20 and then they just stop. That's it. Stopped. They don't go any further than that. A lot of men do this as well. They get to a certain age, a certain way of thinking. Like I said before, they get indoctrinated into a way of thinking and then they just stop. That's it. It's like they create a bubble, and anything outside of that bubble that could threaten the bubble that they've created is seen as the enemy, and they ignore it and they stick their fingers in their ears and go la 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 and just pretend everything's fine. Because anything that could potentially shake the landscape of how they see the world is a threat, rather than embracing the world and looking at it from a logical, rational point of view. They reject that. And this is a very dangerous way to go through life, because now you've just put yourself in a square or a circle, and now nothing else, you can't do anything more than that. You've just put limitations on yourself. And this is what a lot of them do. And particularly with gay men, everything's hypersexualized. It's all about reducing another human being to a body part. It's not about finding connection that is real and sustainable. It's kind of like pump and dump. It's use and abuse. And it's all based on playing characters, dressing up in costumes, taking the concept of masculinity, putting yourself in a leather jacket and dressing up a character. Dressing up in leather doesn't make you masculine. It's just a characterization. So a lot of that sexualization, and it happens with women too, is it, the truth about size 0 is you're supposed to be this standard of thing that is stick thin, lives off a cup of soup a day, doesn't take up too much space on the train. You're as a woman, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's for women and men. If you're expected to have a career while you're still raising a child at one time, so you're supposed to be at home all the time and pretend that you don't have a career, at the same time have a career and still be at home at one time. So that's insane. There's just society's unrealistic standards and we wonder why everyone's getting around and it's such a sick society. We're fragmented as hell. So fragmented, it's off the charts. And I have this pendulum and I'm sharing my truth here. I really feel that this pendulum inside of me swings. Some days I wake up and I have hope, and other days I wake up and I don't even want it. Like, it's so far gone now that it's just literally a matter of time. The concept of society is collapsing because we are talking about value systems here. We are talking about moral codes here. And if we're not able to receive and look at each other with some level of respect and moral code, to respect biology, respect nature, respect the soul, we are disfiguring the soul. We are mutilating the soul. We're destroying it. Maybe that was, and then I think that other part of the pendulum is like, yeah, maybe humans were just made to live out our time here and end. We could never get along with each other. We could never respect nature. We're narcissistic in general. We get to play God. We interfere with everything. We rewrite everything we can. And we destroy everything we touch. So I have this kind of, not a self-hatred, just self-pity. Because some days I don't feel human anymore. I feel that I just look up to the stars at night. Whoa, this is so fucking heavy. But I go out and I look up into the stars and I'm like, just beam me up. I'm ready. I think a lot of my problems come from just being way, way, way ahead of most people and just pretending I'm normal, pretending I'm stupid, just to fit in. But at least I'm having the courage to just say the truth here, how I feel. But that's how I feel a lot of the time. I'm bored. I see, like, I've got this old soul in me that has been here so many times before. The thought of coming back here terrifies the shit out of me. And I just see the same patterns of human behavior just repeating itself on a loop, on a loop, on a loop. It's the same thing, just in a different form. The wars, the problems, it is what it is. But I'm tired. I am tired in my heart. And a lot of the joy that I have now is kind of sucked out of me because I just see things for what they are. And once that the glasses have been taken off, everything's different. Everything's different. And I don't know how to go back to where I was before, how I saw the world before. And I understand that the way that we look at it is the way that it interacts with us. And I understand the law of attraction in the Hermetic principles. I understand that. I get that. But I feel I'm trying to keep as calm as possible and keep myself as neutral as possible. But yeah, that's how I feel. So I know this has been a lot in this video. I have really put my heart out there and, just doing a chat. This is how I feel. This is what is going on with me. I'm not going to give you some upbeat bullshit and talk about gossip, Hollywood, spilling the tea. I'm giving you my soul. This is how I feel. This is what's going on with me. This is my advice to you about dealing with your family, about dealing with people that are not good for you. Logistically, sometimes we just can't get out of it. We feel completely trapped. And that's really fucked up and it's really sad, but that's what it is. So acceptance is key. Going back to the point of what I'd like to end this video with would be, stop trying to see them for something that you need them to be in your head, because it's never going to happen. Just accept them for where they are on their map. Just accept them for where they are on their journey. And they'll probably, they'll be coming back here again to do it again. Don't you doubt that. They will. So recognizing what's yours and what's theirs and keeping that boundary. Try so hard to be kind and find kindness. Find someone who you can be kind to, that's kind to you, that can love you and see you even when you can't love and see yourself. That's really important. Find someone that really gets your soul, not just what you look like, looking pretty. Because you can't base a relationship around sex either. It's not going to work. Most relationships these days are so transactional. People don't want to commit. They don't want monogamy. They're always looking for the bigger, better deal. And let me tell you, that road is a lonely road. The more that you want, the more that you want. An ungrateful heart will never appreciate anything. It's just about the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next lover, the next thing. But they're not in a place of appreciation for what they have. That's just how society operates these days, sadly. All right, I'm going to leave it here. So please, if you've listened to my video, thank you so much for holding space for me. I know these videos are hardcore. They are real and raw. I'm going to upload this video now. Let me know what your advice is about dealing with a dysfunctional family, about being born into a family that can't see you, doesn't want you, trying to chase some level of approval or love from someone who just doesn't have it in them. How painful that is. Let me know. Be vulnerable with me. I want to know. Tell me about your experiences if you so choose to. But this is how I feel and this is what's going on in my life. And you can probably hear it in my voice. Yeah, it's hard. I'll leave it here. Love and light to you. I'm going to get back to my art and I look forward to engaging with you. Let me know if I got through to you. All right. Bye.